Hi, Miss. I'm Jay Surya Subramaniam. So today we're going to present about the first assignment from business ethics. And this is my group mate, Tharani Priya and Jay Surya, myself, and Parminder Jitkar. Moving on to introduction part. So online piracy is the act of downloading and distributing copyrighted works digitally without the permission from the owner, like music or software creations. So although the idea behind piracy predates the development of the internet, but I would say it's a punishable crime of some anonymous people by stealing somebody's creation. This is because it is simple to do. You just have to create a website and post a video or music that you like, and within 2 seconds you can click and download it. So basically it was begun by a 14-year-old boy, which is Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart in 1771, where he transcribed a music sheet which is stolen from a chapel, which is only available to the authorities, but he was later on caught and summoned to the Rome by the Pope. So way more later years, the Napster was launched by Sean Fanning and Sean Parker in 1999, caused a rapid upsurge in online piracy of music, films, and televisions. So it always maintained focus on music in the MP3 format, but it allows the users to share content via a peer-to-peer file sharing, made it easy for the regular users to get free music. But later on, the music Napster groups who operated this piracy websites potentially earn millions of dollars by sourcing like advertising, subscriptions, and sale of content. I'm gonna pass it to my next co-presenter. Thank you.
Hi, madam. My name is Parminder. Next, I'll be presenting on the case study part. So basically, our case study is all about digital downloads, which is also known as piracy. So our case study explains that in 1999, two teenagers created the file sharing program called Napster, and many Napster users shared music files with each other, but without any compensation to the artists and producers who actually made and produced the music. This actually sparked a series of legal battle over copyright and distribution as well. And artists were also divided on the benefits and harms of Napsters. Over 70 artists formed Artists Against Piracy in coalition with major record companies to combat the piracy occurring on Napster app and other peer-to-peer internet services. Although court ruling forced Napster to terminate its file sharing business, Napster app innovation stimulated payment-based services such as iTunes, Pandora, and many others. So basically, this is all about our case study. So next, I'll pass to my team member to explain on the next part.
Hello, Miss. I'm Jay Surya Subramaniam again. So for question 1, artists generally agree that piracy causes financial harm, but some artists recognize that piracy creates exposure for the artists and access to the listeners. So it is benefits of piracy outweigh the harms done by the creators. Why or why not? So in my opinion, I would support the artists despite the benefits that the piracy creates. So basically, pirating music might be easy, strategic, or cheap, or free to the users, but the consequence faced by the artists or to the music industry is way more terrible than we think. So first of all, there are few points that I can tell you why artists are facing the most terrible situation. So first of all, online music piracy leads to yearly losses of billions in money to the artists or music industry. The artists might find it harder to renew or sign new contracts, and also they need copyright income to upgrade their equipment, expand their range of work, and improve the quality of music. So it was lacked when they doesn't need the proper recognition. So besides that, the artists also lost in motivation to continue music as their career. So basically, not everybody reach in this career. So some of them that started from level 1. So they need so much money, so much recognition to sustain in this industry. But when things like this happen, like piracy and so on, so they will be, lost their motivation, lost their interest sometimes. So besides that, music industry can't continue because the charts and views heavily affected by affected the artists and will make them less famous. And also music industry can't continue because they don't have enough of funding from the customers or consumers, where basically each song released in a year or released in a particular time, when the song was released, the money will be in by the views of the customers. When it can be get by another sources, so it will affect the funding that they have used for this particular or produced to a certain music. It will be affect the contribution of the music industry or by the artist itself. So sometimes inaccurate of songs in charts day by day can cause the industry as less in cash flow and less opportunity to the newcomers in the music industries, and less trust in hard work of the employees who try to research the music. And that's all from me. Thank you, Miss.
Hi, madam. I'm Tharani Priyana Perempuan Sibenganam, and my ID number is 012022020144. So I will be continuing this presentation with question number 2. So question number 2 is that along with other file sharing services, Napster helped to stimulate payment-based services such as iTunes, Pandora, and many others. Do you think this positive outcome justifies Napster's illegal activities? Why or why not? So my answer for this question is that the illegal distribution of copyrighted content without paying the producers is still wrong, even though it may have unintentionally helped the music industry to grow. So there are some reasons for it. Firstly, is because the Napster's illegal actions, despite the benefits of fee-based services like Pandora and iTunes, violated intellectual property rights and copyright regulations. Next is that the unauthorized distribution of copyrighted content without payment to producers and musicians resulted in financial losses for both of the parties, both musicians and also the producers. Okay, so next is that the unrestricted accessibility of music without payment also had a legal consequences as confirmed by the legal disputes. So in a summary, Napster's actions should not be justified by the benefits they provided, as they fundamentally violated copyright rules and also harmed the content creators. So the benefits of encouraging fee-based services like Pandora and iTunes should not excuse Napster's illegal actions. So next will be the question number 3. So question number 3 is that if Apple had not agreed to compensate artists in response to Swiss open letter, do you think it would be ethically questionable to subscribe to their service? Are you, as a consumer, more likely to subscribe as a result of Apple's response? Why or why not? So my answer for this question is that Apple's response to Taylor Swift's open letter to the public would have been unethical if it had not compensated artists. So as a consumer, I would not be more likely to subscribe as a result of Apple's response. So this is because subscribing to a service that doesn't pay artists for their artwork would be seen as exploitative and unethical, as it indirectly encourages the exploitation of creative people. So ethical consumers often favor the equitable and fair business practices, and joining a service that doesn't reward artists would violate these ideals. So in summary, it would be unethical to subscribe to a service that underpays artists, as it could be seen as supporting unfair business practices and the exploitation of artists. So that's all from me. Now I will pass it to the next person. Thank you.
All right, madam. Next, I'll be presenting on question number 4. So first of all, I'm required to state the 10 moral rules which are identified by Bernard Gerd that piracy violate. So basically, at here, these are the 10 moral rules or principles of Bernard Gerd. So the first one is avoiding harm. So music producers, artists, and other people involved in the production and dissemination of music might suffer from piracy. This because they lose out on possible earning and praise for their job due to the piracy. Next would be the productivity principle. Piracy actually may reduce the financial incentive for musicians and other creators to generate new music or other works of art. As we know, in the process of creating new art, it will consume a lot of cost, so it might deter financial support for the art. So next principle would be the justice principle. Resource distribution is unfairly distributed as a result of piracy because artists are not paid for their intellectual property, which creates an unjust scenario here. And next would be the truthfulness principle. So since piracy entails obtaining and disseminating creative works without legal authority, it is dishonest and a violation of the truthfulness norm. So next would be the gratitude principle. So piracy shows a lack of appreciation for the work and cultural contributions made by artists and producer. They don't get the proper appreciation for the product or the art that they produce, the music or any kind of film or any kind of movie. They won't get the proper appreciation for it. The next principle would be avoid pessimism. Piracy makes the climate for artists worse and might make people doubt if a career in the arts is viable, which means is it worth it to get involved in the art field due to the piracy that causes them to not get the appreciation that they're supposed to get, and also the financial the get back of the financial that they put while they produce the art or movie or film. So next principle would be the self-improvement. Because piracy takes away resources and opportunities from artists, it may make it harder for them to advance their career and enhance in the cultural environment. And next would be the confidentiality. One aspect of piracy that frequently violates the confidentiality principle is the unauthorized distribution of copyrighted material. For an example, illegal websites that provides movie links on the day it's released itself in the theater, which is unauthorized distribution. So next would be the fidelity, where people who engage in piracy betray the faith of artists and the business community, breaking the fidelity rule. And the last one would be role fidelity. Those who are involved in the production and distribution of music have particular duties and obligation, and piracy interferes with these roles, violating role fidelity. So in addition to artists, right, piracy also have an impact on several consumers. Okay, so now in this slide, we will see that which other parties are potentially affected by the piracy. So first of all, the obvious party would be the producers. Producers are actually basically the people who invest in the making of music, movie, film, or any kind of art which is presented to the public, and they could actually suffer from financial setbacks which are actually caused by the piracy itself. And second would be the records label. Record labels are the businesses that spend money promoting and disseminating the music, film, movie, or any kind of art to the public, and they can actually see a decline in the sales, which is also caused by the piracy. And the third one would be the consumer. While consumer thinks that free access to music may be appealing, piracy may also result in a reduction in the standard and diversity of available content if the artists and producers are not fairly paid. So the last one would be the innovation. Innovation in the music industry may be stifled by piracy if artists worry that their work will be exploited without giving them a fair price. So overall, we can see that the way one views piracy may change if they have a more comprehensive perspective on the individual impacted and the harm they inflict. While some claim that piracy opens up access to music to more people, the overall detrimental effect on artists' livelihoods, the caliber of their work, and the industry's capacity for innovation shows that piracy violates several more several more moral principles. And in-depth comprehension of the moral ramifications of piracy may result from taking into account the bigger picture itself. So next, we'll have a look on the conclusion and recommendation part. So for the conclusion part, we can actually see that the entertainment software and publishing businesses are all seriously threatened by piracy. Along with the technology growth, it shows that piracy have now grown even more further. So basically, to prevent and punish piracy, the government, businesses, and technology companies must work together and enforce intellectual property laws strictly to ban or cut off the piracy. And another thing is that long-term behavioral change can be influenced by increasing knowledge of the harmful effects from piracy and encourage public on a culture of respect for intellectual property rights. So basically, this means that the government itself can work to educate the public on piracy pro and cons for them to understand the disadvantages of piracy to the producer, the record labels, and the owner of the art itself. And in the end, maintaining the integrity of intellectual property and a vibrant, creative, and innovative environment requires a balanced and all-encompassing strategy. So as what I said just now, once the government, businesses, and technology companies works together, this can actually help to cut off or prevent any kind of piracy from happening in coming days, or right now itself. It can help to ban piracy. So that's all from our side. Thank you, madam.